Someone else is getting into the act. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of The Guido Goes Off. Once again, thank you for watching. Moving right into the first portion. Um, well, we can't say Josh Matthews isn't a confident man. Um, Earlier this week, on a Impact online show called My First Day, Josh Matthews talked about his first day working for Impact Wrestling. Of course, it was still TNA back at that time. Sorry. Um, Interestingly enough, he did make a very bold claim in this, and that was that he considers himself to be the best play-by-play announcer in the business, and that no one can touch him. Okay, first let's go with the positive. Let's face facts. If you don't believe that you're the best at something, what you do, you're not going to be as good as you either think you are or as you hope to be. You have to hope that you constantly progress in your profession and that you become better at it. On the other hand, let's face facts. Josh Matthews isn't the best play-by-play man in professional wrestling today. Definitely not the best play-by-play man that ever existed. In fact, he may not be the best play-by-play man in TNA. I think Jeremy Borash could give him a run for his money. So, yeah, I think it was kind of stupid of him to make that claim, but I can see where he's coming from, whereas you don't believe that you're the best, especially when you're the play-by-play man for one of the top companies in the world, you're not going to get anywhere. But, yeah, dude, if he just said one of, I think people wouldn't have been as reacting as much to it as they are to this. Because, we live in a world where Jim Ross is still doing play-by-play for the Access TV New Japan content. We have, Michael Cole. We have Mauro Ranallo. Even Tom Phillips to a degree on NXT. Is Josh Matthews one of the best out there? He does lend his certain style of over-exuberant teenager, and he has. But personally, for my taste, if I'm going to nitpick, I think he's just way too biased in certain matches, and he doesn't really add to the broadcast. A play-by-play man, honestly, if you're talking like in comedy terms, the play-by-play man's the straight man is the setup for your color analyst. And yes, we live in a world where Raw and SmackDown, with Raw and SmackDown and NXT, where you have multiple color analysts, and each and every one of them is trying to undercut the other and just resorting to schoolyard bullying. But you have, TNA's announced team. I mean, we went from Mike Tenay, who's, I believe, one of the best color analysts in the business, and did very well as a play-by-play announcer for TNA. But, and then you go down to Josh Matthews. It doesn't really lend itself, it's not a step up. I mean, just because you're the only game in town doesn't mean you're the best. I mean, it makes you the best by default, yes. But remember, he came from WWE, where other announcers are leagues above. So I can understand why he wants to think that, but we all know clearly this isn't the case, because he just brings little, if anything, to a TNA broadcast. So finally, after 17 weeks of waiting, Lina debuted on Monday Night Raw and said, screw this, she's going back to Emma. Oh, God, yeah. You freaking tease. You freaking tease. Well, here's the thing. It said that the decision to scrap the Emmalina gimmick and actually go back to Emma, and the reason also why it took so long for her to debut the Emmalina gimmick was because she didn't like it. And in fact, she's getting some backstage heat from creative who they're like, oh, well, we took all this time and we created this Emmalina gimmick, throwback to the divas and the models and all that. Well, she didn't. They complained that she didn't put any effort into it. Well, why should she? It was shit. Because I'm going to flat out say it. Okay, yes, you had your heyday of the models as wrestlers, and it tried to do that with Eva Marie, but Eva Marie got rejected, almost violently by the fans. And then you're trying to do it with Emma, who had the Evil Emma gimmick going, and it was working. Above all else, Evil Emma was getting over. Evil Emma was working. You take a wrestler, and you let them wrestle. And yes, they have a bit of an edge to it. I mean, the sunglasses and the darker makeup and the darker highlights in her hair. Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all window dressing. Emma is one of the best damn wrestlers WWE has, male or female, which has been seen from several of her matches. It doesn't have to. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to say. You just need to put a little window dressing on it and give her a character direction, and there you go. Emma's great as she is. So why mess with it? It's a simple thing. Not everything needs to be tweaked. Not everything needs to be done with more grandeur. Simply put, WWE took something that worked and tried to screw it up. It's, I think of this trying to turn Emma into Emmalina, and I keep going back to don't never mess with perfection. Seriously, Evil, like I said, keep saying, Evil Emma worked. Evil Emma was over. Evil Emma was getting fans and getting butts and seats, which I believe is, one of your principal things that you want to do as a pro wrestling company. I'm no expert, but butts and seats is usually a good thing, right? Right? Yeah. But seriously, here's hoping that we don't have to wait another 17 weeks for Emma. I mean, honestly, so we're going to delay you because you're not making this work. Well, that's crap. Crap doesn't work. Now, interestingly enough, we got some big news in some of the biopics going on about some WWE superstars and legends. First of all, Bill Simmons, in addition to HBO, is actually getting into production of an Andre the Giant documentary. I know they actually did a true Hollywood story of Andre the Giant. It's an A&E biography, and that was actually really interesting, and it's with HBO's production and Bill Simmons at getting behind it, that it is looking to be a very interesting film, and I'm actually looking forward to watching it. Of course, there's also some more news, something I haven't reported yet, that I haven't talked about, surprising considering it involves Paige. As we all know, WWE Films and The Rock's production company, $7 Productions, is getting involved and is doing a biopic version of Fighting with My Family. For those of you that don't know, it was a documentary shot around the time, a shot of the Knight family, around the time Paige had her successful tryout with WWE, and it also covered her her making a bit of her making the transition into FCW, as well as her family back home in Norwich. Ricky, Julie, or Saraya, Zach, also, who was at the same tryout but didn't make the cut. Interestingly enough, I got to get the notes here. Now, it is interesting some of the casting news that has been come out as of late. You actually have Lena Headey and Nick Frost portraying subsequently Saraya and Ricky Knight. Wait, so Paige's mom is Cersei Lannister? Okay, moving on. And then you also have Jack Loudon playing Zack Knight, and newcomer Florence Pugh playing younger Saraya, or Paige, for those of you that don't know. But some interesting news did come about that Vince Vaughn has actually been cast in the movie. According to The Rock and according to Vaughn's publicists themselves, he is to play a wrestling personality that was kind of down and out and didn't save his money and what have you. A lot of people are speculating that he is actually going to be playing Jake the Snake Roberts, which he did have an influence in Paige's career. So I think this is some really big news, especially as far as this is concerned. It does look like, I mean, it's pretty heavy cast, and the material is great. I mean, for anyone who hasn't watched it, you can actually find it on this here on Most Glorious YouTube. Fighting with My Family. It's actually it's really interesting. We got a really good perspective into a wrestling family. I'm actually thinking about doing a watch list, like wrestling documentaries. I think people would like that. Would you guys like that? In the comment section. But anyway, so yeah, since this involves Paige, I'm probably gonna talk more about it. You know, especially considering this is gonna be like, come back, Paige. I mean, seriously, we all want to see her wrestle again, right? Right. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Guido Goes Off. Once again, folks, I thank you very much for watching. And I want to hear, what do you guys think of the topics I covered today? Please let me know in the comment section below. And, of course, you can always talk to me via my most glorious social media. And, of course, while you're here, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family if they're interested in wrestling. You know, the family that watches wrestling together, I like to think, stays together. And, of course, if you have not yet already, please subscribe to the channel. It always helps us out. So until next time, I'm the Guido, and I think we're done here.